As Glenn Darcy, I'm Vice President of Product Management for ARTURIA. I'm here with Big Boy Tech Report, and we're here to talk about our new MATRIXBrute synthesizer. Our MATRIXBrute is our new flagship analog synthesizer. It's an all-analog voice path with a matrix modulation scheme in the center. We start off with 3 oscillators. The oscillators are based off, oscillators 1 and 2 are based off of our MiniBrute oscillator. So you've got the mixable waveforms and the sub-oscillator. You've got that twice, and then you've got a third oscillator over here with selectable waveforms. This oscillator is also a low-frequency oscillator at the same time. So it actually performs 2 functions at once. It's not one or the other. But with the subs and the other 2 oscillators and the third here, you almost get like a 5 oscillator sound. It's a big sound that comes out of this. From there you go into the mixing section, and each of the oscillators you can choose whether they go through the Steiner-Parker filter or into the ladder filter or both. So you can route where they go here within the mixer. We've also got a noise generator with 4 different types of noise. We've got white, pink, red, and blue noise. A lot of people have been asking me today, well, what's a red and blue noise? Well, red noise is a more low-pass filtered version of pink noise, and blue noise is a high-pass filtered version of a white noise. So it's a little thinner. So it's like the light spectrum of red to blue. So just think of it like that.
I haven't heard of red and blue noise before. Is that something specific to ARTURIA? You all?
No, it's actually a scientific. It's actually a scientific thing, and we basically just, we wanted a filtered high-frequency one and a low-frequency one as well in there to give you more tonal variations without having to use a filter directly. We also have an external input here, so you can bring a guitar, bass, or another synthesizer modules. Maybe you have a modular synth. You can bring something else into this, mix it in with the whole signal path, and then process it. So with the 2 filters, they can run in parallel or in series with each other. From the oscillators, we go into a VCA, and then finally to the output, and through some analog effects. We actually have Bucket Brigade device analog delays. We have a stereo delay, a mono delay, a chorus, a flanger, and a reverb. And it's really a reverberator, and it's an analog reverb. It's our own thing. We took a bunch of the Bucket Brigade devices, and we put different kind of spacing and timing within each of the brigades.
Wow.
And we've kind of created this weird reverberator kind of thing. So it's our own kind of effect. It's not like a space reverb or a spring reverb, but it's a cool effect, and it's something.
These are actual analog effects?
These are true analog. It's not digital. It's not. There's one that's a little digital chip that a lot of people use that they pretend to be analog. It's not that. It's real analog Bucket Brigade device. So.
Multiple effects though, right? Are they able to be stacked, or is it like one?
No, it's one effect at a time. Yeah, it is one effect. So you've got 3 envelopes. You've got 2 that are regular ADSR types, and then you've got a third that has a delay time on it as well. You've got 2 LFOs with 7 different waveform selections. You've got your regular sine, triangle, square, ramp, sawtooth, random sample and hold, and then like a filtered sample and hold that's kind of smooth. You have a phase adjustment, and then you also have a delay on the 2 different LFOs. Now the matrix mod is really the heart of this, and what this allows is it's sort of like a virtual patch cord. It's like me patching something from one point to another. So if I want to send an LFO1 to the, let's say to the cutoff filter of the Steiner, I just go over here, find Steiner LFO1, and I enable that. Now I can set how much modulation up here with this knob. So I can go positive or negative amounts in the modulation. So you can do that for the whole thing, and when you save your preset, it'll save the routing. For presets, you've got 256 presets total. You can recall them directly off of the front panel grid here. So I don't have to step through to go get something. If I need to get back to A1, I hit A1, I'm there. The other thing that the grid does is it's a sequencer controller. So with the sequencer, it's up to 64 steps. You can record them in. Sequence real quick. Oops. So that was a really beautiful musical thing there. Take out some of the, then you've got swing controls, and then gate time. Now with this, you have accent, so when I'm playing in a step with velocity, it can actually hit in the accent level. You can slide, so you can get like the TB3 acid bass line kind of thing, sliding from one pitch to another. And then we have a separate modulation line here. And the modulation line allows you to basically create a control voltage on each step that can then be used to modulate any parameter on the front panel. So you do that via the mod matrix. You go back here, there's a mod sequence. And so I can use the sequencer to modulate some other parameters separately. It's also got a full function arpeggiator built into it as well. Now the mod matrix has, being that it was originally designed to be kind of like virtual patch chords, on the back panel here, you can see we have CV inputs and outputs. And they can override the inputs and outputs here within the matrix. So if you have some kind of a module, you know, I've got a make noise module or something from Pittsburgh Modular, I can patch that in and out of here and bypass, you know, maybe I don't ever use, you know, the aftertouch or something. I can patch into here, patch that module, and now you tie it directly into your full modular. The macro knobs are really for live performance.
Okay.
So you can take a macro and you can assign it via the matrix here. There's macro 1 through 4. And I can assign it to any knob, once again. So I can play a note, turn a macro, and it can, because I can do them, you know, say I do this one and it's positive and this one it goes negative. By turning this one macro, it's turning one knob up and one knob down. Well, I can do that for 16 knobs. So in your playing, you can turn one thing and have it just go crazy.
That's something that I'm typically saying that some very popular software.
Yeah, that's more like macros that you'll find on site. Exactly. Yeah.
I don't know that I've seen a fit with that kind of thing before, unless there's some vintage one that we have had.
Yeah, none of the vintage ones had any kind of macros. There may be some digital ones out there. There may be like some workstations or something that might have done that.
That's a pretty special
but
feature. I mean, it's pretty powerful.
Yeah, I mean, it's really for, you know, the live musician, being able to just turn something and get some kind of instant gratification, do some cool, crazy stuff off of it. To me, that's it's a big feature of the performance.
And so is it monophonic, duophonic, paraphonic, how many voices?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, good.
Yeah, it's monophonic, and then we have a separate paraphonic mode. And the paraphonic will split the two oscillators, and you'll be able to play a couple voices at one time. The most interesting one might be the duo split though. So what it's going to do is it's going to take VCO3 and put it under control of the sequencer, and then VCO1 and 2 can be played on top of that. So you can have a sequence running, but then be able to play a sequence on top, play, you know, your own melodic patterns over the top of the keyboard. Yeah. Yeah, we have audio inputs, and you can see it's got instrument and line level with a gain control. You have an audio gate on and off, so it can trigger the envelopes. If you put something, you know, percussive through that, you can have it trigger the envelopes. You have a gate in and out. You have a sync in and out. The sync can handle one pulse. It can handle 2 pulse per quarter note like a Korg Volca. It can handle like old style 808 Roland DIN sync, both 24 and 48 clocked in sync. So you want to hook it up to a 909 or something like that, they'll sync together. And then you got pedal controllers and regular MIDI in and out and USB in and out. Yeah, 49 keys with velocity and aftertouch.
Are there any demo sounds at all in there?
No, it's just stuff that we've been making here at the trade show. So our sales guy kind of did this the other day.
particular sense on the market that you guys said this is going to be the so-and-so killer? You don't have to mention any. Was there one out there? I think we all.
Well, yeah, there's a couple that it's going to kill. I know they're within about $200 price range and do about 1/8 of what this does.
Right.
There's one that was recently discontinued that cost about 3 times this much, and this does more than that did.
Right. Yeah.
But as far as I hate the killer thing, because the reality is all these synths have a different personality. And I was hanging out with Dave Smith the other day and Tom Oberheim the other day, and all these guys, it's like the guy who's going to buy this might also buy a Dave Smith, and might also buy an Oberheim, and might also buy something from another company, and it's all good. We're sort of in competition, but at the same time we're not. Anybody that's doing something good here is good.
It's just like guitar players. You can have a virtuoso guitar player. He'll have 10 guitars.
Yeah. There's a guy that's going to own a Fender. He's going to own a Gibson and a Gretsch. It's the same thing here. My studio at home is full of all kinds of synths. I got everybody's. So that's the MATRIXBrute. It's probably going to be shipping in May, and $19.99 is going to be the street price on it.